So the point spread on this game, 6.5. It's just kind of sitting right there.
Yeah.
Oregon is favored. Although I think I saw Herb Street talking to Pat McAfee today.
Yeah.
And he said that he thinks Oregon's going to lose.
There's a lot of the national folks that are kind of poking around this, where this has become, stuff becomes sexy, upsets, kind of groupthink. And it does feel like a lot of the national pundits are pointing to this one is maybe one where they trip. One, Oregon the last couple of weeks hasn't necessarily, with the exception of Rutgers, hasn't looked that good. The shine has come off of the Penn State thing. People are pointing to the Iowa-Indiana game. Iowa actually had a big offensive explosion against Minnesota. So narratives, and you kind of want to build up these big games, and so I think that's kind of become a thing.
I mean, I don't know if it's narrative as much as it is like what people are seeing. It's like Oregon's offense has not looked great. Iowa has looked great. The thing about Iowa that's so weird is it's just so hard to pick them. They're good, right? But it's just so hard to pick them with an offense like that.
Yes.
Well,
and they haven't. I think they're now like against top 25 teams. They're like 0
and 11. They're 0 and 11 in their last 11 games against ranked opponents.
Yeah, these are games that Iowa, it's just they just haven't won. They're in a lot of these games. Again, I go back. Indiana at home. That was a tie game with about 2.5 to play, and Iowa was kicking a field goal to try to win that game or at least go up. And
it's funny.
And it went south, and next thing you know, Indiana's scoring, and thanks for coming.
What's funny is you look at the whole transitive property thing is just it's not a good way to look at football at all.
No.
However, in the interest of being dumb, Penn State. If you look at Penn State, Oregon, Indiana, and Iowa, they've all played. And they've all been toss-up games.
Yeah, right.
Every one of them.
Flips.
Indiana at Oregon, Indiana at Iowa, Penn State, Iowa was I think it was 25-24. Oregon, Penn State went to double overtime, and then this week we get Oregon, Iowa, and Indiana, Penn State.
Yeah. So.
So they've all been close. They're like the same team,
and it feels like this one will be close.
This will be close.
I have a hard time picking Iowa because they just.
Well, they're Iowa. That's what I'm saying.
And they're Oregon has been good. Oregon's defense has been good all year. I don't believe in Iowa's offense. They have not had a 300-yard passer in 73 games.
They don't. That's not how they win.
I know, but I don't believe with a truly one-dimensional team that they are going to line up and just bully Oregon. I don't believe that's the case. And yes, I know Oregon's offense didn't look good against Wisconsin. This is a good offensive football team. It just is. And the other one is they do not have a single skilled position player that would play for Oregon. Not a single one. Not a running back, not a quarterback. Their leading receiver has 16 catches for like 129 yards. And I know they have a couple good backs, but they're not necessarily NFL guys. The only thing they have on that side of the ball, their O-line. Their O-line is really good, and so is Oregon. So when I look at this, I understand that the styles make fights, and they're very well disciplined, but ultimately the reason why Iowa loses these games is they are just less talented. So I have a hard time picking the less talented team almost universally across the board. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't win. It doesn't mean that they can't drag Oregon into deep water. But for me to pick this upset, I can't bring myself to do it.
You know what I'm most looking forward to?
What you got?
I am most looking forward to the Kirk Ferentz cowardly punt.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's coming.
They will be at Oregon's 47,
yes.
And it will be 4th and 2,
yes.
And they'll be
he'll punt.
Here we go. Pin them deep.
And so I'm going to go ahead and predict right now that a cowardly punt will lead to an explosive play for Oregon that is the difference in the game. That's what I'm going to go ahead and predict right now.
I like where that's going.
But against the spread, that's a tough one. I'm with you. I think it's going to be a tough football game. And like you said yesterday, the way Iowa beats you is they limit your possessions.
Yeah.
And make you be really good when you do have the ball. And so I think Oregon, I don't know. I don't think they're going to hold the ball or have the ball that many times.
No, you're looking at, I think Iowa wants Oregon to have about 9 to 10 possessions. That is probably in fact, if you're being honest, I think they'd probably rather have about 8. but that's, 10 possessions is about what you're looking for. And some of that's like that. And that's about what happened at Indiana. Remember, one of those, the Indiana's first touchdown came when Indiana got an interception and they only had to go like 2 plays. And then there was like an end of the half one that was a couple, and then the safety at the end. So there was only about 7 meaningful possessions that Indiana had. And so when you ask, how does Iowa hold you down? That's it.
Right there.
Don't give you the ball 7 times. And they play really good defense. And the other one will be penalties and negative plays.
Special teams too.
Special teams.
They're good at special teams.
One of the things about playing, when I asked him about the cover 8, and Landon was like more specific. So they played this cover 8 defense where they drop 8 guys into coverage. And normally when you do that, you should be able to run teams out of that. But they're so disciplined and their secondary guys are such good at run fit. Even though they're dropping 8 into coverage, they just don't give up big run plays. And so the idea is somewhere along the way, you shoot yourself in the foot. And so Oregon has to be really good about not taking negative plays. And I thought it was interesting that Landon even said, they kind of bait you into taking like, hey, you got a one-on-one out here, take this shot. And before you know it on first down, you're like, oh, damn it, it's 2nd and 10.
Yep.
Now you're behind the chains, and now Iowa's laughing, licking their lips. And so there does need to be a patience there, and that can be hard for guys, especially an offense that's used to being explosive at Oregon. So this may not be the sexiest game for people to watch, but from an X's and O's, I feel like you're a football nerd.
It'll be good.
This is a fun game.
Yeah. So I saw the potential point spread if Oregon and Ohio State were to meet again.
And I just said off the top of my head, I went Ohio State 4.5.
Ohio State is 11-0-1 against the spread in their last 12 games.
That's pretty good.
So they went on, after losing to Michigan last year, they have been on an absolutely epic run.
Yeah.
Where they have beaten every single team. They have covered every single spread. And of those teams, I think those 12 games, I think 6 of them were top 10.
Yeah. Who didn't they cover?
Well, there was one they pushed.
They pushed because Oregon was favored in that game. Were they not when they lost last year?
Yes, dude. Iowa State
was a cover.
Yeah, that was a cover. They pushed against somebody. It might have been Texas, because didn't Texas score a?
Yeah,
because they covered late.
Was that 14? That ended up being 14-10.
Oh no, I think it was like, I think it ended up being.
Well, look,
this is a good test. I think that final score was 28-14.
Because remember in the opener?
No, 14-7 this year. I'm talking about last year's playoff game.
Sorry.
I think they had a pick 6.
Okay.
Late.
Because this year's game, I believe, was 14-7.
It was 14-7. Well, that might have been the push right there. Were they favored by 7?
I'll take a look, see where this.
Anyway, if Ohio State were to play Oregon in the playoff, the point spread would be, according to odds makers, or one odds maker. You said 4.5?
I said 4.5.
11.5.
Get right the hell out of town.
Not even kidding.
Really?
That's how the odds makers view Oregon v. Ohio State.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Isn't that wild?
And I know what happened in the playoffs last year. You give me Oregon an 11.5, I'll take Oregon in the points.
The thing about Ohio State is they cannot make these spreads high enough.
No.
I mean, they covered again last week, beat Penn State, and I think they were losing, or it was close at halftime.
Yeah.
And this week, it's like they're playing Purdue. It's like 30 points. Like they can't make these spreads high enough.
No.
They just keep covering.
Yeah. I'm looking here. You're right, because the Washington game was a 7-point game going into the fourth quarter. Ended up winning 24-6. I'm trying to think if they've really. No, I mean, the Texas game is the only close game they've played. They've been in games in the fourth quarter, but every one of them outside of that Texas game has ended up basically being a blowout at the end of it. 34-16 against Illinois, 38-14 Penn State, 34-0 Wisconsin. Yeah, they played in one close game.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the one game that they pushed.
Because it wasn't Texas, so I looked up. They beat Texas by 7, and it was anywhere from 1 to 2.5.
Oh, are you talking about the playoff game?
No, this year.
Yeah, it was 14-7.
14-7.
But what was the score of last year's playoff game? I want to say it was 28-14.
Okay, I will. So I was looking at the point spread for this year and what it was.
Not that any of this matters.
No, it doesn't. But
who cares?
I don't know. Basically, what you're saying is Ohio State right now is a juggernaut, which probably means they're going to lose in the postseason.
They did beat Texas 28-14 in the playoff.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure the spread was not 14.
No, zero chance of that.
Let's see what the spread was.
But
Yeah, spread was 5.5.
it does feel like every time we get one of these teams that like can't lose, they lose.
Yeah.
I think
Who do you think is the team that is best suited to beat Ohio State?
I don't believe in A&M. I just don't. And this is going to sound like a slight to Texas A&M, and I don't want it to be. Texas A&M easily, and I mean easily, could have 2 to 3 losses. They're undefeated. They're 8-0. They're in the SEC. Dude, give them all the credit in the world. Texas A&M is not the third best team in the country. They're just not.
I have the push.
Whoa, what's the push?
They played Ohio in their third game.
Wow.
They were favored by 28,
Oh my God.
and they won by 28. Those odds makers are good.
It is alarming how close they are on those sorts of things. That's interesting.
Does Alabama have?
That's kind of where I want to go with this.
Does Alabama have the corners, like Kirkpatrick, and like do they have corners that can actually cover Smith and Tate?
Yeah. Because, I mean, that may...
But they don't stop the run very well.
But Ohio State doesn't run the ball particularly well. So that's why I was kind of going down with... If you find someone that can play sticky defense, and Alabama's pass rush is kind of getting going there, and Alabama's offense, I do think, can cause Ohio State problems because no one really has this year. If you ask me who I had to pick in a tournament to beat Ohio State, I think I would probably lean towards Alabama.